It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. It's a battle on the islands as Utah State squares off against Hawaii. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Man, I had everybody hit me up. Like, I like you guys, but if we go another week without Ian Fitzsimmons, we revolt. Well, guess what? He's back. Hi, Ian. How you doing?
So full of crap, it's unbelievable.
No. I mean, I would never do that.
Line of BS. Hands, reach across and just knock the crap out of him, please.
That's what we call Tuesday around here.
I don't dare, Ian. I don't dare. I don't want to knock him off the chair.
How we doing, man? Well, let me tell you something, boys. Last week, while I missed you, I was in room 403 at the Residence Inn in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Oregon, Penn State, whiteout. So far in the early parts of the college football, not early, hell, week 7. But to this point, that was the most electric, remarkable game of the year. And I'm puking and doing everything else you can imagine in room 403 while I'm supposed to be on the sideline of that game. That's how bad it was last week. So, vicious. Hands. What'd
you have?
Was it food?
I don't know. It was either flu or food poisoning. I don't know. But it was vicious. So, there we go. But we're back, man. Good to go, and let's get it. Because guess what? Coming along on the Wasatch Front this weekend, BYU, please don't screw this up. Utah, please don't screw this up, because the Big 12 right now is like the SEC. If anybody tries to tell you who they truly know who's going to be playing in the Big 12 title game or the SEC championship game, guess what? They're lying to you. They're full of crap, because both of these conferences are so damn deep. I can't wait. And part of me right now is rooting for, could we, if Utah were to beat BYU in a couple weeks and then they both run the table and somebody takes care of Texas Tech, can we see BYU Utah in the Big 12 champ? You know where I'm going with that, Scotty.
Let's go.
So, I mean, could it happen? Yeah, it could. But Texas Tech is just so damn good right now, guys. They are. That's the best team money could buy, and Joey Mack ain't apologizing for it. I mean, they're playing by the rules, and so is Cody Campbell, that billionaire oil tycoon who happens to be, disclaimer, an old friend. I wish you'd give me some of that oil money. But, man, the Big 12 is shaping out to be just a remarkable stretch run, just like the SEC. I can't wait.
I'll tell you what, Baron Morton hurried back, didn't he? That Will Hammond got out on the field and gunned it, runned it, and did everything with it. And Morton's like, geez, I'm not going to let this guy go very much longer. Baron Morton got back with Texas Tech fast.
Oh, and that's a good – that was an undefeated Houston team at Houston. And it felt like damn near that stadium was 50-50. The Red Raiders, the tortilla heads, are there. They are just absolutely embracing everything about this team. And you're right, man. Baron Morton was like, you're not taking my spot, dude. And they go in and punk, I do mean punk, a really good Houston team. So the Red Raiders are for real. The tortillas will be flying. And, man, this is one – this weekend, though, guys. I mean, look, don't sleep on Arizona. And obviously you're not going to sleep on Arizona State, because they were just, in the chip in the college football playoff. But Utah can't afford to stumble. BYU at least can, but don't do it. Don't do it to me, please. Just take care of business and let's go.
You covered this game. You know how much it means around here, especially when these two teams are good.
Can you imagine twice?
You know what? I'm already counting my rating bonuses right now. Already. Let's go.
But here's the thing, though. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Could it happen? Yeah. And the reason I say do I think it's going to happen is a two-letter word instead of three. That team we just talked about in Texas Tech. They're legit.
I want to talk a little bit about Arizona State, because they just find ways to win. Back-to-back 27-24 wins. They're not dump trucking people, but they still have that swagger to them with that quarterback who's the ultimate of all alphas in that locker room. What have you seen out of Arizona State so far this year?
Man, Levitt is legit. You're right, especially for somebody his age. He commands respect. And I've only done one of their games. I did one last year, and you see, even as a freshman, guys were gravitating to him. Which Hands, have you been on those sidelines, man? And Scotty and I just talk. You've lived it. That's impressive for a true freshman to command that kind of and organically. They just gravitate to the guy. But it all starts with the head coach and Kenny Dillingham. He doesn't want to beat you. He wants to humiliate you. He calls his excuse me, their game room or whatever, the pool tables and the video games and, ping pong or whatever else, which Rick Carlisle, of course, calls table tennis. He gets very upset if you call it ping pong. He doesn't call it the game room. He calls that the competition room. Everything is a competition at Arizona State, and it starts with Kenny Dillingham. He is just a different animal, man. I mean, he really is. So when you talk about just those little subliminal things, it's not a game room. We're not playing games in here. If you're playing pool, you're competing. If you're playing table tennis, you're competing. If you're playing freaking Galaga, you're competing. This is a competition room, not a game room. The little subliminal messages that guy sends reminds me a lot of Kyle Whittingham. And, man, that one's going to be one to watch. And I've got a night game, 7 o'clock Central kick in Baton Rouge, South Carolina. I'm going home. I'm going to get even fatter than I already am. I will be able to get back to the hotel and watch the fourth quarter of that bad boy. And I can't wait because that's going to get nasty.
What do you make of Jordan Tyson? What would you do if you're Utah? How do you figure out this receiver?
Can we get Morgan Scalley on the phone?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He's just a monster target. What's he got now? 7 tutties this year,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Close to 40 catches. I'm going off the top of my head, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a beast. I mean, I don't know any other way to describe it. When they're in the red zone, you know where it's going. I mean, it's not even a secret. It's all right. Here we go now. Where's that guy wearing 0? Oh, we're all 6'3", 200 pounds of him. Just throw it over to him, and good stuff will work out, right? He's averaging a first down a catch. So. I think you got to bracket him, don't you, Hands?
Oh, yeah.
Let's just go. Filthy, naughty, deep into the weeds game inside the game. I got to bracket that guy. I'm not going to go and man up on him, right? You've got to have a safety over the top every single time, especially in the red zone, because he's so dangerous. I mean, but then you're robbing from Peter to pay Paul. So how dangerous is that if you're Morgan Scalley? If you are going to go ahead and shade a safety toward Tyson.
Ian Fitzsimmons, ESPN, joining us right here.
That was a question, Scotty. I mean, can Hands answer the question?
You know what? You knew long enough that it's time to reset, right? Your boys at Bristol bark at you all the time. Got to reset the guest. Got to reset the guest.
It sounds like you're my old boss again, dude. I just asked the man a question. Can he answer it?
Well, the problem with it is, Ian, you've got Raleek. And where you got Raleek Brown, who's averaging what he's averaging, I've got to use safety and run support. So I don't know, man. It's a catch-22. I think that's what makes Arizona State really tough. If I'm Morgan Scalley, I'm probably leaving my beefier safeties a little bit closer to the line. I might run one over the top, but I was talking to Scotty. I'm going to take my best cover corner. If that's Smith Snowden, then it's Smith Snowden. And I'm going to try to do as much work as I can. But you're right. Well, I can't let him run free. So I've got to give him extra attention. Here's
the other part, Hands. And Scotty, you want to reset?
No, you're good. You keep going.
I love you, buddy. You're dealing with what, as you mentioned, with Raleek Brown, right? Who's averaging, 6.5 yards a tote? I mean, so if you do shade the safety, then you're opening up that aspect of it. So, Arizona State's a complete football team. So is Utah, and that's why I can't wait for this one. Now, and as far as BYU goes to the other side, with Kalani Sitake, they are a very small favorite. That scares me a bit, man, because Vegas knows a hell of a lot more than we do. A prime example, last week, Cincinnati is favored over Iowa State, undefeated Iowa State. Now, they're at Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's a 2-point favorite. You know what the most heavily wagered game in Vegas was last week?
Cincinnati, Iowa State taking the +2.
The public hammered Iowa State, and what happened? Yeah, so
Cincinnati.
Yeah, this one scares me. Hey, Kalani, have your boys buckle that chin strap a little bit tighter. Fafita, it feels like he's been the quarterback at Arizona for 17 years. I mean, it does. It feels like he's been there forever. He is maybe 5'8", but he can sling it. We've all seen it. That's why T-Mac was a first-round draft pick, their wide receiver to the Carolina Panthers. So this is one that scares me a little bit. Both these games scare me for Utah and BYU. Just handle your business, and let's continue with the dream of a possible rematch in the Big 12 championship game.
So whatever you were dealing with at Penn State, did you give it to that team on their trip to UCLA? What happened there?
This is, by the way, this is the beauty of college football. If you're not passionate about the game of football, just go watch the Neuheisels. Jerry Neuheisel calling plays for the first time in his coaching career with that majestic hair that guy has. I mean, I'm about to come all the way home and shave my head because I'm going bald as hell. But, man, that dude has got some Hollywood locks coaching at UCLA. And he had 2 days to put in a game plan. And he punked and pantsed James Franklin and Jim Knowles. And watching Rick, and I was on with Rick yesterday on Full Ride with he and Chris Childers. And I told him, man, I'm getting unsolicited text messages from guys like Tom Telesco, longtime NFL general manager, going, can you believe this Neuheisel story? If you're not passionate about college football, go watch Jerry Neuheisel's post-game presser and watch the highlights of his dad. If you don't have a tear in your eye, man, you aren't human. It was awesome. Absolutely remarkable. And so I'm going to compliment, and I have all week, I'm complimenting UCLA instead of ripping Penn State because that was just a spectacular performance. And it starts with Tim Skipper cleaning house and that coaching staff and then elevating Jerry Neuheisel to call plays. And he called one hell of a game. Now, I mentioned Tim Skipper. You know how many wins he now has over an AP-ranked top 10 team?
That would be 1.
You know how many James Franklin has?
That would be 1.
Doesn't that crack you up? I mean, James Franklin has not been able to win that big game. And I know they were in this college football semi last year. I get it. But you pick Oregon for a whiteout game. Yeah, Dan Lanning's the wrong guy to do that to because he finds every little thing when it comes to motivating. And the moment that Lanning and Oregon saw that was a whiteout, it was, you want us for a whiteout? Oh, and you had that chant, we are Penn State? And I love him in the tunnel going, we are. And he goes, about to whip your ass. I mean, and they did. I know it took double OT, but that's the time where, and Scotty Hands, you both know this, Oregon beat Penn State twice. Does that make sense?
No.
The hangover and that hard-hitting physical football game got Penn State not once at the whiteout, but it lingered 3,000 miles all the way to California. They were still moping and drooling and licking their wounds from Oregon. And that's why Oregon, I say, beat Penn State not once, but twice. And Jerry Neuheisel and UCLA took full advantage of it. Hell of a win, remarkable. And Penn State right now, out of the top 25. Texas, out of the top 25. What were they preseason? 1-2. What did we talk about before week 1? Every year we're going to see teams that start out in the top 10 end up unranked. And it didn't even take till week 7 till we finally saw it.
I think that there's an interesting study here with Penn State where they had Nevada, FIU, and Villanova, where there are 3 openers before they went to Oregon.
Nobody, and nobody.
Yeah, and you just beat up on a bunch of nobodies, and I think you might have a false sense of self going into that Oregon game where Oregon comes into Penn State and gets that win. When on the flip side of that, Oregon had been tested with Northwestern. They were on the road with Northwestern. They had played Oregon State. Now, Oregon State has been up and down, but Oregon State mostly bad. They beat Oklahoma State 69-3, but at least they tested themselves a little bit to figure out who they were. I just wonder.
These are P4 opponents.
Yeah, I just wonder if Penn State just was off in la-la land thinking that there was nobody that could get through them with what they'd done in the first 3.
Hans, that's a great question. I don't have an answer, but I do know this. Drew Aller for 3 quarters was awful. 4th quarter, he was sensational, and then he had that awful throw in double OT. And when the moment is grandest and the light's brightest, he's not handling it very well. And so, people were talking about him as a potential first-round pick. I wouldn't take him in the first 3 rounds right now. Yeah, I'm just, and I never would have said that about a college player until NIL. You want millions of dollars? Now you're pros. Now we can blast the ever-loving hell out of you.
Yep.
You're going to cash that check? Guess what? You're a professional now. And if 18-year-olds can go to war, guess what? We can blast you for wet-the-bed moments playing college athletics because you're cashing checks. So Drew Aller wet the damn bed, and they did it again at UCLA, and I give full credit to the Bruins. It was a hell of a story.
Who's your Heisman frontrunner right now?
Dante Moore.
Yep.
I mean, this young man, and as you guys know, we talked before week 0. I was embedded with Oregon for about 5 days, and when I say that everyone to a man, from Dan Lanning to the defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy on down to the chief of staff Marshall Malkow, who manages the portal as well as anybody in college football. This team, everyone said this is our most talented team we've ever had here at Oregon. You just don't know a lot of the guys yet. They're just young. Look at 23, that true freshman running back. You want any part of that? Look at Kerryon Moore, true freshman wideout. You want any part of that? No one knew who these guys were coming into the season outside of Oregon fans. And even Oregon fans really didn't know how great they were going to be. Look at what they're doing right now. I mean, they are deep, they're talented, and they don't want to beat you. They want to embarrass you. Dan Lanning is one of the master motivators. And when he said Dante Moore was going to be everything and then some, I'm like, okay, I got to see it first, Coach. Well, we've seen it. And he's legit. And he was, on an ESPN bet to start the season, he was plus 4,000, meaning you got to bet $100 to win $4,000. Well, I put $50 on him to win the Heisman, right? And I'm hoping, praying that baby cashes because he's playing at a remarkable level right now. So is Carson Beck in Miami, and so is Jeremiah Love now all of a sudden at Notre Dame. So, when you talk about Dante Moore, that is a legit Heisman, not candidate, but amongst the front runners. And he has a Jalen Hurts type attitude about him. Did you guys notice that? You don't never see him smile. You never see him get angry during a game. It's after the game that all of a sudden the emotions come out. But during the game, that dude's his facial expressions, his mannerisms, his body language, it doesn't change. And that's remarkably impressive.
Ian, is there something wrong with Arch Manning?
I don't think so. He's a young quarterback who's starting for the first time. The injuries this is what drives me nuts, Hans. The injuries they have at running back, is anybody talking about that?
No.
The O-line not being able to protect, anyone talking about that?
No.
That's not
They're just
nearly
talking about
as
the
much
dude with
fun.
the last name Manning.
Yeah.
That's it. They are so banged up at running back. The O-line is young, talented, but young as hell, and yet it's all on Arch. So, and full disclaimer, I got Oklahoma next week against South Carolina. We just got to sign that game today. And I just had Oklahoma. That front seven is legit, led by R. Mason Thomas. They will get after your ass. So Arch is going to have his hands full again this week. But when it comes to, is he overhyped or this? Yeah, he was overhyped. Why? Because his name's Manning, and he went to Texas, right? And he was the number one prospect in all of college and in high school football coming out, of Newman High in New Orleans. But I'm not going to rip the young man yet. It's his first year as a starter. And what's a quarterback's best friend? Running game and O-line. Well, both those aren't clicking right now. So I'm not going to – I don't think there's anything wrong with him. He's just young and doesn't have a running game, and he's not being protected well. And, by the way, he ain't exactly seeing it well also. It's not all in the running game and O-line, but I'm not going to turn my back on Arch Manning yet.
That is Ian Fitzsimmons. If you don't know who Ian is, he's with ESPN, and he is our current guest right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. How's that for a reset? Solid?
Well, most people have no idea who I am, and Scotty, they're wondering why you have me on every week. But I love you guys, and so we just chop it up and bust each other's chops, and there you go.
Everybody knows the legendary Ian.
Everybody knows Ian Fitzsimmons.
Whatever.
You're the best, man.
Hey, by the way, I got a question for you guys before you turn me loose. So I've had this wallet for 22 years. My wife gave it to me when we got married from a little leather and nice shop in Jackson, Wyoming. And it's to the point now where, credit cards are falling out. So I've got to get either a new wallet or do you guys go with, there's this thing called the Ridge, I was told.
No, that's too expensive, man. It's not worth it.
So you're a wallet guy, not a money clip guy?
I'm I don't know, Hans, what do you call this thing? It's kind of more of a money clips thing, but
Card and clip.
But those Ridge, man, they want like $60 for one of those things. Yeah, just go on Amazon, get you something easy for $5. Don't worry about it.
You're more money clip and than wallet.
Yeah. Although I used to Constanza it a lot. Like I used to have the big old fat wallet for a long time.
Why does that not surprise me about Scotty, that he would go with the big wallet, Costanza? You have the big jacket too, don't you? Like you're knocking over wine bottles.
I feel bad because his wallet's smaller than mine. No, he just pulled his out. I'm looking at mine. I'm like, geez. I might have to
something right now, but we're on in Utah.
Yeah,
I know. I realized that really quick.
You guys know exactly. Everyone listening knows where I was going to go with that, but I didn't say it. There we go.
But you did. But you did.
I love you, fellas. All right, boys. Till next week.
Thanks, Ian.
Utah. Come on, BYU. Don't screw this up for us.
Boy, that's how we feel. Man, that's how we feel.
Let's go.
Speaking truth. There he is. Ian Fitzsimmons right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.